I'm speaking with Nicholas, who is the chairman of the American Libertarian Party. Could you present yourself, please? What is your name? How old are you? And what are you doing for a living?
My name is Nicholas Sarwark. I'm 37 years old. Turned 38 in a couple of weeks. For a living, our family owns a used car dealership in Phoenix, Arizona. So we sell used cars to people, finance them, give them loans to buy cars. And then in my spare time, I'm also chairman of the Libertarian National Committee.
Okay. Can you say me something a little about the history of Libertarian Party, when it was founded and how big it is?
The Libertarian Party in the United States was founded in 1971 by Davida Nolana and some of his friends. They were very frustrated with Nixon and the Republican Party. They felt the Republicans had moved away from the free market principles that had been part of the party. And so they founded a new national committee. In the last 46 years, the party has grown an incredible amount. We're now organized in all 50 states in the United States. We've run presidential candidates in every presidential election since 1972 was our first. And we just crossed 500,000 registered voters in the United States who have identified as libertarian, and we're on track to continue to grow and become a bigger part of American politics.
Okay. And how many parliament members do you have?
We have no members of the federal Congress, not Senate or House, and we haven't elected a president yet. We have about 150 various elected office holders in the different states around the country, and we have goals in 2018 to run over 2,000 candidates nationwide at all levels of government, from Senate and Congress down to local city council races and mayors.
Okay, and what is the main goal of Libertarian Party?
The main goal of the Libertarian Party is to return American politics to what it used to be, which is the idea that every American has a right to pursue happiness any way they choose, as long as they don't hurt other people and they don't take their stuff.
So the basic principle of libertarianism.
Exactly. The libertarian government, if it is going to exist, should only exist to protect maybe you from hurting me or vice versa, but it shouldn't protect us from ourselves. Adults have to grow up and make their own choices, make their own mistakes, and learn from it.
And how you achieve your goals? I mean, what kind of work are you doing? You just making advertisement, writing articles, or maybe some other activities?
So I do pretty much everything I can. I try and recruit candidates. I give speeches and presentations to train candidates on how to speak. I present at conferences like this one in Puerto Rico. I meet with donors to get funding for the party. We engage in lawsuits, and I'm a witness sometime in lawsuits to fight the government. So we do everything we can to try and build a freer country for our children.
And do you prepare your candidates, so the people who will be destined to run in their elections? Do you think about this 1 month before or 1 year before?
We think about it years before.
Years before. Yeah.
So the day after the 2016 election, when Gary Johnson and Bill Weld got a record number of votes in the history of the Libertarian Party, for the first time, we got more votes than the difference between the winner and the loser. From that very day, the day after, we started planning on how to run candidates in 2018, 2 years hence, and how to start building the party up for the presidential election in 2020. Our work starts the day after everyone thinks the campaign is over.
Okay, great. And can you explain to the Polish audience how the political parties are financed in the United States?
In the United States, there's a federal law that requires that political parties can only get money from individuals. Political parties cannot be financed by companies or corporations, although people who work for corporations sometimes give campaign contributions. And there are maximums on how much someone can give. One person can give approximately $34,000 American dollars in any given year. So it prevents, say, 1 or 2 very wealthy individuals from kind of owning a political party and encourages broader participation. It's probably not constitutional, but that's the rules that we have to live under.
And it works because we have been heard in the conference how the big companies bribe the politicians in Peru and in Brazil.
It works probably better than Peru and
Yeah.
Brazil. There's a lot of ways to influence politicians, and what libertarians realize is that politicians are going to try to be influenced by companies who want special favors, and they'll figure out ways around any set of rules. So even though only individuals can contribute in the United States, oftentimes people that work for a large bank or a large pharmaceutical company are all encouraged to all make individual contributions to the same politician, which then turns into legislation being passed for the benefit of that company. So that instinct is kind of a natural human instinct, and that's why libertarians, instead of trying to manage that process, we're trying to minimize how much power government has. So it's not so much that we work on the supply or the demand side, because people always want special favors.
Yes.
We try and work on the supply side so that there's less things for the government to give out.
Oh, great. And what is your role in the Libertarian Party? Because you are chairman, so you are not the president, but chairman is also a very important person, I think.
Yeah, chairman is equivalent to president in some organizations. Basically, I'm the leader for the party nationally. So our party is organized as 50 state affiliates in the District of Columbia. There are individual libertarian parties like the Libertarian Party of Arizona or the Libertarian Party of, Colorado. And then nationally, we have a national committee that kind of organizes and sits on top of all of those individual state parties that manages the presidential election and also works to move resources around. So if we have to file a lawsuit in Ohio or we have to hire petitioners to get ballot access for our candidates in Virginia, that's what the National Party does. And I also act as kind of a spokesman or a CEO for the party.
Yeah. Could you say something about your grandfather? Because I think that it will be a very interesting message for the Polish audience.
Absolutely. So my grandfather was Roman Sarwark. He founded the oldest used car dealership in Pheonix in 1942. And his father was Franciszek Sarwark, who came over to the United States in April of 1902 with $8 in his pocket. He had $8 total. He was brought into this country at the age of 19, single, no real job prospects, and ended up working as a machinist in Indiana. Then his 3 sons went on. 2 of them served in the military. One of them started a major business. And, that sort of, it's the American dream for somebody from Poland with only $8 to come over here and end up having their family become kind of pillars of the community.
And the great possibility is that in the 3rd generation, his ancestor became the president of the United States.
It could happen.
I wish you became the president. And can you tell me something, how you think the cooperation between politicians from the United States and, for example, Poland?
I think that there's a lot that we can learn from each other. Poland has a lot to teach us about the experiences with socialism, some of the like a child can learn from touching a stove not to burn themselves.
Yeah.
But sometimes if you watch someone else burn themselves and they tell you about it, you can avoid getting the burns yourself. So I think that we can share some ideas with Polish politicians can share some ideas with us. Everything is better through mutual sharing and cooperation. When people talk to each other, share experiences, share ideas, I think both sides benefit.
Yeah. Great. I hope that the next conference will be in Poland, and I will invite you, and I expect that you will come, and we will have some more space to exchange our minds and maybe influence the societies in both countries.
I look forward to it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.